Naya Abaribe, who's the minority leader in the Senate. He's also the senator representing Abia South Senatorial District. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you, Mark. Always glad to be here.
Can you give us a background into what has led to this? First, there was the one that is now popularly known as the social media bill, and now there's this bill on hate speech. Some people are lumping them together. They think it's one and the same, that is the same social media and free speech that's targeted. Some differentiate. They say one is about promoting ethnic unity, the other is about social media very specifically. What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess at the point at which we get to the second reading of these bills, maybe the sponsors of the bill, of the different bills, will now explain what they really want within the bills. As at the moment, what we have is the first reading, and usually first readings are automatic. You just put the name, you put it to the committee in charge of the Rules and Business Committee, and then it's read. And once it's read, then the process starts. The second process will now be that the bill will have to be gazetted. So we will now see every aspect of that bill. Once it's gazetted, then it's brought for second reading, and that is when we discuss the general principles. So at the moment, I do not know what is in those bills, just like no Nigerian knows exactly what is in those bills, except for all the speculations that we're seeing.
It's gone beyond speculations. I mean, we're already beginning to see highlights in the papers. I'm sure that, you know, perhaps copies of the bill already be making the rounds. You already received visitors in your office yesterday as a result of this particular bill. So people already have an idea of what could be in the bill. Should we dismiss them?
No, we shouldn't dismiss them. I'm sure that they probably have an insight into the bills. But if, when the Leadership and Accountability Initiative visited us yesterday, what they set out was the fact that these bills seek to abrogate the rights of Nigerians. Chapter 4 of the Constitution, which sets out from, I think, section 34, 35, 36 to 39, gives you all the different rights that you have as a citizen of Nigeria. And specifically, they were talking about section 39, where you have freedom to hold your opinion, freedom to disseminate information, freedom to receive information. And they feel that that is going to be abrogated by this. And I told them, well, that as far as I know, I don't think that we will be, that we would be part of abrogating the rights of Nigerians. Democracy implies freedoms. If you are a Democrat, then you should be able to let other people hold their views and let their views be espoused. That is, it is the contestation of ideas that make up a democracy. A democracy where you regiment everybody to one single line of thought. That's not a democracy. That's authoritarian, rule. And I don't think that we have gone through all this to come to authoritarian rule at this time. You know, I'm an Igbo person. And in my place, in Ngwa, we say, Obogo agafe mpa muabia bamado. Let me just paraphrase it. When you pass through the evil forest, that's when you expect that the demon will catch you. It's not when you have already passed the evil forest, then the demon will come to catch you outside the evil forest. So what we're saying is that we kind of pass through this 20 years of democracy, pass through all the things that we pass through under the military, and then we get to this point, and somebody wants to come and circumscribe your rights. That will not happen.
Not, well, at least you say not under the watch of the Senate. I'm wondering, you are a minority leader right now. It means you're the voice of the opposition in the Senate. Do you feel that free speech is under threat in Nigeria, considering first the fact that we're seeing these new bills, and also considering the actions of the executive in recent days?
Yeah, recently, free speech has been under threat. And I think it came from the fact that all of a sudden people were being arrested for making things public. I think Jalingo or so. Then there's somebody being tried in Calabar. There's somebody being tried in Kaduna. And then, of course, the Minister of Information now said that they are going to have to, amend the laws to be able to circumscribe the social media and the regulations within the social media and all that. So if we're not very careful, we may just slip into another the dark days of authoritarianism, and we're not going to let that happen. I think that we couldn't have passed the evil forest, and then the demon will catch us after. So free speech is under threat.
Now, these are the instances that you cited. However, there are those who will say that these bills haven't come up out of the blues. Let's look at Senator Sabi's bill, for instance, which is talking about hate speech, which is very specific on hate speech. It's not very particular about social media or the platform upon which that speech is spoken. I think it was last year or 2 years ago, we saw a crisis in this country, in different parts of the country, over herdsmen, farmers' clashes. And even some communities were threatened as a result. We also saw moves by certain sections of the country, agitations for secession, and as a result, speeches which are supposed to be free, which threatened the peace of people who were supposed to be, free to live wherever it was that they were living in the country. As a result of that, people felt that there are some measures that should be put in place so that people don't just speak carelessly and endanger the lives of other people. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, in forming my thoughts on this, I will want to read out a few things for you just to put it in context. Government that is unwilling to take any responsibility for anything should not be counted upon. A government has responsibility to protect its citizens and not engage in blame game. Now, this president has finally owned up to his globally acknowledged incompetence.
May I ask where?
No, I'm coming. I'll just finish it with just one. Never in the history of any nation has incompetence and cluelessness been exhibited by any leader as being exhibited today in this government. This government, that's another one, is running the country aground with a combination of incompetence and corruption. The fact of this government, it has nothing to do with ethnicity, but a manifestation of incompetence, cluelessness, and inferiority complex. These were the words of Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, between 2012 and 2014. I bet you that anybody who says it today, they will now say, oh, it's hate speech. Oh, you have gone ahead. Oh, you have called the president incompetent. You have done all this. And they will jail you. That is the reason why I say that sometimes when you want to circumscribe people's rights, you should also remember the past. If a hate speech bill, which advocates death by hanging, was in place between 2012 and 2014, when Lai Mohammed was making these acerbic statements against the Jonathan administration, do you think he will be alive today? So people need to be really very careful when they they go ahead. And I can quote so many other things that were said under PDP government, but nobody did anything to them. And I'm saying this very, very carefully.
Distinguished, I think that you're answering a separate question.
No, I'm not answering a separate question.
Let me contextualize.
I'm telling you in context. I'm putting it in context that The right to hold an opinion, to make an opinion, is an inalienable right of every citizen of Nigeria. And when somebody who used to use this shows up today and now says, no, you can't do it, for what he did in the past, that tells you that it's nothing but intolerance and driving us towards an authoritarian government. And I'm saying that every Nigerian should wake up to the fact that they don't mean well for us. I know and I acknowledge that social media sometimes can be irritating, sometimes can be downright. Listen, I've suffered from it. A few months ago, a couple of people called me and said, oh, why is it that some people told us to, in your name? So people set up social media accounts, put my name there, put my photograph there, and we're communicating with people, and then tell them, oh, pay money here so that you get a job. Pay money here so that you can get a contract. And some people actually fell for that scam. That is the bad side of social media. But will I advocate that they should be hanged? That is the issue.
No, Senator, they are two different.
They are not two different things.
No, they are two separate.
Tell me exactly what is different.
The example I have given is very different. I mean,
yes.
the context that I have given
yes.
is very different from the context which you're painting.
So tell me exactly your own context.
Let me give you and for the purposes of this discussion, I'm trying to separate the two.
Yes.
There's a social media bill, which, of course, the current Minister for Information and Culture has been proposing, and he has been harping on it constantly at every event and every forum fora he gets. He's talking about regulation of social media. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, is this hate speech bill, which has been proposed by a fellow senator. He brought it up in the 8th Assembly, even before Alhaji Lai Mohammed started talking about regulating social media, which it would seem comes on the back of the crisis that we experienced as a result of farmer herdsmen, in quote, crisis, which was degenerated into some ethnic, had ethnic colorations, very strong ethnic colorations. That's on the one hand. People's lives were lost in that particular crisis. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, there were also agitations, which you are not unaware of, by IPOB, which led to the proscription of IPOB. That's also on the other hand. We saw northern youths, in quote, you know, coming on TV. They did not do this on social media, saying that, you know, a certain group of people should leave their parts of the country. That caused tensions in some parts of the country and had the capacity to, you know, turn into some conflagration of sorts. Some people felt that was hate speech and should have been punished appropriately. Do you think that when you have context like that, that these kinds of bills will be necessary, or do you think that we already have enough laws which look after circumstances like that?
Simply put, we have more than enough laws to take care of issues of that nature. If somebody like I am today, and I come out here on television and advocate that, oh, this person should be removed from here or whatever, the laws that are presently here now, even the criminal code has somewhere, I think section 59 or so, where these things can easily be tackled. Defines the you know, jail sentence and all that are really there. We have the criminal code itself. We have the Broadcasting Organization Act. We have the Cyber Crimes Act. We have so many legislation that's already there. The question to ask is this: why are the people responsible for this not using all these laws, and then we want to bring in even far more draconian acts? That is just the point. And if you now say, let us contextualize and put both of them, no. The reason is this: you wouldn't know by the time you slip from one to the other. If I come on social media and advocate that we should kill everybody who is not an Igbo on social media, you can't also say that it's different from coming on television here and making the same statement is the same. The real point here is that we should be careful so that we do not throw away the baby with the bath water. And what I'm saying in effect is this: the laws are already there. And let me go back to what you said. A few people came out on television and said, we have to send these people away from here. They didn't hide themselves. Did you hear that they were arrested? Did you hear that they were incarcerated and then charged to court? You understand? For all manners of things that you can always, any lawyer can frame and get it there, from falsehood to sedition to A to B. Nothing happened, which means that they were, so to say, protected. But then a few people from IPOB come and say, oh, we want to leave Nigeria. And then they were quickly found and tried. That is the point that we are making. Why are we leaving the big oak in front of us and looking for the very small speck in other people's eyes? It is this treatment of Nigerians in different ways that make people very, very scared that if these laws are passed, if this law is allowed to pass, it may be targeted at some people, not just a law that is supposed to affect everybody. Because if any government is even-handed in its approach to people, and you bring such a law, everybody say, okay, fine, why not? Because it will affect everybody. But once you find that people are not treated equally, people are treated in different ways because of where they come from, or because of their ethnic coloration, or because of their religious inclination, and so forth, then the fear comes in that maybe this may not be all that it is for what you just see. And so we should really be very, very careful.
I see your point, Senator, but would you say that that's, in your words, reason enough to throw the baby away with the bathwater?
Well, I throw it back to you. What is democracy, after all, if you can't hold your views and I can't hold my views? In every democracy, you have people at the fringes. You have people that are extremists. You have people, but the bulk of us are at the middle. And so anybody on the fringe goes against any law. You use and apply the law as it is. It is what is going on today and what is making people very scared, and what is making those of us who are part of the vanguard for protecting democracy is that we do not see from the government and those who want to apply the law an evenness, a sincerity of purpose in making sure that if you commit an offense, you pay for that under the laws of the land as it is. And I say there are enough laws. Anybody who tells you that there are not enough laws, it's not being fair. We know that as society evolves, and as society changes, and as you have new communication tools and all that, you may need to. But we have a cyber crimes bill. If you use your computer to do anything that is wrong, including maligning people and all that, it's already covered by the cyber crimes bill. Why do you have to now bring up another one? We have laws in the criminal code and all that, against incitement, against all that, is already there. Why do we have to now bring up another one? Why do we even have to create a commission? Now you create a commission, you bring somebody, and you make him an obnoxious man. And where will he come from? That anybody will trust him in this country. Will he come from the moon? No. He will come from somewhere, and everybody will say, ah, he's coming from this side. Oh, they want to oppress us. I mean, there are some things that we should let to lie and not to inflame things further.
But when you look at the the purpose of this? Let me focus more on the hate speech one now, which is trying to ensure that there's ethnic harmony, so to speak. Is it really? And I'll be making your points now, but
So you see, you're now on my side.
Would you say I was never on any side? My job is just to get out the sides appropriately.
Of course. So let's see.
So would you say, though, that laws is what will help us achieve ethnic? Can laws help us achieve ethnic harmony?
No. The best thing that will always help us to achieve ethnic harmony is that whoever is the president, whoever is the governor, whoever is the local government chairman, whoever is the senator, whoever is the House of Rep person, whoever is the judge, do only one thing: justice. Be fair to everybody. That is all that people need to see that there will be harmony. If somebody from my village, and I'm a judge, commits an offense, and because he's from my village, I set him free, then another person from another place commits the same offense and comes before me, and I throw the book at him and sentence him to death as is being proposed, then how can anybody look at you and there will be harmony? Harmony is not brought by making of laws. Harmony is brought by the fact that when you act in the interest of all. Even when you're sentencing somebody to death, everybody knows that the crime for which he committed, which will take care, is what will save society. That is what we're just saying is an absence of equity. If you don't have equity in the way that you treat your people, you will always have disharmony. It can never be created by mere passage of a law. We can always pass laws. And like I said, the laws are there. It is the application of the laws that are already there. And I'll just give you one small instance. The people that used my name and then created a WhatsApp, a Facebook page, and went ahead and even got an account number, those that they duped sent me the account number which they used. I wrote a letter to both the police and the SS. I submitted everything to them. I said, please investigate this. A couple of weeks later, the SS wrote me back and said, of course, the police didn't respond to me, but the SS wrote me back and said, oh, we have traced this person. This is the account. They're using a phone. The phone is somewhere in Port Harcourt, blah, 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 and investigations are continuing. And of course, it's more than 1.5 months now, nothing. I will not feel happy, and I'm sure that's how a lot of Nigerians feel. Assuming that, you know what I'm saying? Assuming they had called me and said, we have arrested this person, we want you to come and give evidence, then I know that something is being done. It's
a little sad, though, that, you know, when you talked about the police, you said, of course, they did not respond.
No, but they did respond.
I know. What I mean is, you expected them not to respond, which is very sad.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. But we have to thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Senator Einaya Abaribe is the minority leader in the upper chamber of Nigeria's upper chamber. He is also the senator representing Abia South Senatorial District. Well, that's it for this segment of Sunrise Daily. The program continues shortly. Please stay with us.